Hey guys, welcome back to the Bumper Blueprint podcast. Last episode, we talked about why branding and strategy matter more than ever in the age of AI. Today, we're getting practical. This is episode 2, and we're starting exactly where most businesses don't, by finding out where leads are being lost. Because before you automate anything, before you add AI, before you switch CRMs and email marketing platforms, you need to understand one thing. Where is the friction in your customer journey? This is step 1 of the Bumper Blueprint framework that we use internally before we start to talk about automations with clients. Most businesses assume they have a lead problem. In reality, they usually have a leak problem. Leads come in, inquiries happen, conversations start, and then nothing. No follow-up, no response, no clear next step. Not because anyone doesn't care, but because the system isn't designed to catch what matters. This is where revenue quietly slips through the cracks. For instance, one real estate investor shared how they lost a $40,000 deal simply because they delayed calling back a seller who had initially said yes. So the lead went cold, the seller took another offer. And stories like this highlight how even small delays can add up to massive hidden costs. This is the moment many teams reach for a new CRM, automation tool, or the new shiny AI feature, which is constantly being updated on a daily basis. But tools don't fix unclear journeys. So this is true. This is traditional marketing. Customer journey is something that you have to plan before you start to automate. So if you don't know how a lead should move through your business, automation just moves confusion faster. And if a lead is confused, they don't get converted or they are not convertible. That's why step 1 of the Bumper Blueprint isn't about software, it's about visibility. So consider a common pitfall. Sales and marketing misalignment. This is so common, whether you're $1 million business or $1 billion business. Whenever we speak to marketing departments and marketing professionals, sales and marketing has to be aligned, and they never are in a big organization. You'll often see people fighting, basically. Some departments do tend to fight over what type of lead comes in, especially when it comes to marketing and sales. So without a shared goal or clear lead qualification criteria, high quality leads slip away unnoticed. Tools might track data, but if teams aren't aligned on what to do with it, you're just automating the leaks. You're amplifying these leaks. So step 1 is simple, but not easy. You map out what is actually happening, not what you think is happening. We look at things like where leads are coming from, how they're captured, who follows up, what happens if somebody doesn't reply, where humans step in and where they disappear. Most businesses have never seen this end-to-end. When they do, the gaps become obvious. For example, inactive CRM users or leads stuck in queues are classic black holes where potential revenue vanishes without a trace. This isn't just a sales issue. Every missed follow-up is a brand moment. Every delayed response shapes how trustworthy you feel. Every dropped lead teaches your customer something about your business. Your customer journey is your brand in action. If it's inconsistent, your brand feels the same. Take the story of one of our clients in industrial marketplace that lost an $85,000 export order because a small $20 domestic test order wasn't fulfilled on time. So their client obviously were testing the process and testing their business before they made a bigger commitment. So by not fulfilling the test order on time, they basically shattered trust, even though the platform wasn't directly at fault. So these moments define your brand far more than any logo or slogan. We often find businesses losing leads because you can hear my cat meowing in the background. But whenever we speak to businesses, we often find the reasons why they're losing leads is because they have a lot of inquiries that sit in inboxes. They have a lot of different platforms where the leads are stored. It could be in their emails, it could be in the CRMs, it could be, some leads are on the website. A lot of our clients, before they come to us, they use spreadsheets or WordPress or Shopify sites where they actually just sit there and they think this is good enough for our marketing. And those systems don't talk to each other, so they're not connected. Sales or marketing teams often assume someone else is handling this lead, even sometimes within its own departments. They don't seem to own or have ownership of a lead that comes in, so no one is assigned to follow up. And these follow-ups often rely on the person's memory. So that doesn't work if you have a B2B business and you need to have salespeople busy on the phones rather than trying to scratch their head and remember when was the last conversation with that particular lead. This is where you really need a system. So no one is really set up badly on purpose. So this is not happening on purpose. It's just something that evolves as your business grows. And this is where funnels make all the difference. For example, you would have seen all these pop-ups on the websites. That's usually a way for somebody to collect a lead or capture a lead. You can qualify the leads with these pop-ups as well. But behind the scenes, the automation should be sending them down a sequence of emails, not just one email. So when somebody downloads a guide or joins your list, and instead of a single email, they can enter a short sequence that introduces who you are, what to expect, how to take the next step. It sets context, and it also builds trust with that lead, because now they've gone from being a cold lead down the sequence to being a warm lead. And it stops them from actually going cold for a long period of time or on day one. I would say this is the easiest way to find if a lead is engaged or not. And this is where you need to take action right away. Or if you take let's say, an abandoned cart or inquiry follow-up, these aren't aggressive like sales tactics. They're actual reminders and follow-ups. They're like nudges. It's something that says, hey, we noticed you didn't finish blah, blah, blah. Do you need help? When this is automated properly, it catches intent at the exact moment that the lead is interested in. So this is where, if you are an e-commerce or a retailer that often sends abandoned cart type of notifications, you will see that the abandoned cart is probably the highest revenue and the highest open rates and click-through rates. So the statistics on this prove that the abandoned cart is the best example of somebody who has high interest and high intent, and they are seriously a hot lead that needs to be followed up. Then there is a case of busy teams follow-up. This is where tools like voice agents that I spoke about in previous episodes, or automated call tasks can step in. When everyone is in meetings or doing deep client work, the systems can still acknowledge a lead. They can still confirm next steps or book a time regardless of a time zone even. So if you are based in different time zones, agents or AI agents can help with this process. The customer feels looked after even when the team is too stretched. So let me tell you more about some other stories that I've come across from talking to our clients and other peers in my industry. There is this carpet cleaning business owner who revealed they were losing 30% of leads until they implemented a simple CRM with automated follow-up texts, and they started to close 20% more jobs and added an extra $5,000 in monthly revenue. As you can see, it's a system issue. If you fix the system, you can directly see your monthly revenue jump. In home services, there is another entrepreneur who noted that slow responses, often taking more than a minute to reply. So I often say 24 hours, within 24 hours you make sure you reply. But in this case, it must be a very competitive, high demand service. It meant that leads were already talking to competitors, emphasizing that we do need to have some kind of a instant text message or multiple follow-ups because these leads are obviously shopping around looking for quotes. In tech, a startup that I know lost a major fitness influencer deal initially, but they won it back by quickly building and demoing an MVP app within 24 hours, just showing how speed can plug leaks from initial rejections. And conversely, a software company had a large lead ghost them due to internal team backlash over a public controversy. And there's lots of those in the news and media, especially once you start to get political, only to return after competitors underperformed, which actually happens in the digital marketing world a lot. We get to meet clients who've used many agencies, and this is a common story. And highlighting how external perception can create these unexpected frictions in the sales process. So across industries like real estate, fintech, and direct-to-consumer like e-commerce, retail, one marketer has observed that buyers don't follow need funnels, and this has been a long-held view of many marketers. Is if you imagine the funnel of leads that are coming in at the typical funnel where we have awareness, conversions, where it's very thick at the top, very wide, and then it narrows down. That was the view that is more linear, but leads in real life don't follow that linear step. In conversions, they jump stages and they can, simply break touch points. And a single broken touch point can make 50% of leads disappear as ghosts until properly found or audited later on. So, all right. So common leaks from broader insights include unqualified traffic driving relevant visitors, weak landing pages causing early drop-offs. That's very common. And poor nurture campaigns that fail to engage prospects over time. None of these funnels work if they're bolted on randomly. They only work when they're designed around your actual sales process and your customer expectations. So step 1 gives you clarity, and it doesn't blame anyone. It's just a process. You just need clarity on the process, and then we can fix humans later on. And once you know where the leaks are, everything else becomes easier. Automation, picking a tool, finding the right CRM, it becomes more supportive. It doesn't feel overwhelming because you have a plan. And the plan is to make it easy for your customers to stay in touch with you, to be front of mind. But without this step, every new tool adds complexity. And especially with the AI, you can easily get overwhelmed. So remember, delayed follow-ups alone can kill deals. And as seen in some trade shows, leads that fizzle without a post-event strategy. We have seen a few people who invest in trade shows. They just need a simple QR code on the stand to capture those leads, because I think some of these events don't want to give you the lead information. And it gets really expensive to have a conference, a trade show. And so that would cost money, and losing that lead would cost a lot of money. So you do need a strategy for that. So if you've ever wondered why, when you speak to leads and they ghost you, they don't follow up, or they don't call you, or conversations don't turn into the sales that you expected, no one's going to convert on the first phone call. And this is really where you start. It's step 1 of the Bumper Blueprint process. In the next episode, we'll move into step 2 of the Bumper Blueprint framework and talk about how to clean up the lead flow without rebuilding everything from scratch. Until then, stay curious, stay human, and keep building systems that support your business. Thanks for listening to the Bumper Blueprint podcast. I'm your host, Jovana Vujnic.